Let's talk a little bit about how to get into galleries when you're an artist. Getting representation is super important because it validates you as an artist, not only to the world, but also to yourself. When a gallery is willing to represent you, it feels like you're actually doing something worthwhile. And that's one of the biggest hurdles for artists in the beginning. Of course, you always have that chicken and the egg problem. You don't know if you're doing something worthwhile until someone's buying your work or representing you. And at the same time, you have to be confident to approach a gallery. So let's talk about the 3 things you need to approach a gallery and how to best go about it. I'm Colin, I own a gallery. I also own a custom framing shop, and we work with artists in our wholesale program on a regular basis, offering prints and honestly so much more. But enough about me. Let's get into what you need to get into galleries. The 3 things that you need to get into a gallery are clarity, confidence, and persistence. Let's talk about each. Starting with clarity. Clarity is super important. Clarity of what you're creating and clarity of who you're approaching. There are hundreds, thousands of galleries all over the world, and you need to make sure that your work fits into their gallery. One of the biggest steps to do is to start researching the different galleries that are out there. And this takes time, but it's time very well spent. As you come up with a short list of galleries, you might want to be looking for some of the following. Who else are they representing? Is their work similar in nature to yours? It shouldn't be the exact same, or else, they're just representing 2 people who are basically in direct competition. But it should be something that is clearly of a similar nature. So if you're doing landscape oil paintings and you see that they have others who are doing oil paintings or landscapes in other styles or mediums, then there might be a good indication that you have something connected with their audience that they can probably turn around and start selling. Because at the end of the day, a gallery has something that a lot of artists don't have, and that's a lease. A rent to pay. And so they do need artwork that is going to sell. That's their number one reason for existing, is to make sure they can A, pay the rent, and hopefully B, pay themselves. So if yours is similar in nature, then it might align with their existing collector base, and that's a really good start. So as you're looking at all the galleries, you want to examine who else they are showing, and that's how you're going to get greater clarity around the gallery itself and whether you might be a good fit. The next piece of clarity is knowing your own work, inside and out. You have to be able to speak about your work. You have to be able to write about your work. It's really important that you can say what's interesting about it in a sentence. Basically, an elevator pitch for what you create. What type of work is it? What's the subject matter? Why do you create it? What do you think is interesting about it? And in some ways, this can be a little bit esoteric. It can be a little bit avant-garde. You can use sort of interesting language to describe a concept that may be intangible in nature. At the same time, it can be quite concrete. So you can speak to the mediums, the methods, the approach, etc. And most importantly, if you can nail down who is interested in your work, that's going to help a gallery know if that's their audience, that's their target collector. So who collects your work already? Now, if you don't necessarily have a whole lot of collectors yet, then you're having that whole chicken and the egg problem, and ultimately just stick to what you do know. Don't make up collectors that you don't have or anything like that, but if you do have some knowledge and insight into this, then use it. If you know they're a certain age bracket or a certain stage of life so far, that's probably helpful. But ultimately, the most important collector to the gallery is the ones they already have and that demographic. So your real goal is to try to either identify that and align with it, or leave that part out and focus purely on the work and how much you create. See, galleries need artists that create regularly, so you can also help share your message by sharing that you are prolific, you make artwork, so that if something sells off the wall, you'll have more to replace it. Make sense? All right. So that's the first element, which is clarity. The next element is confidence. Confidence is super, super important when you're approaching a gallery. And confidence is something that you can fake if you don't really feel it. Fake it till you make it. You just need to show up and open your mouth. Self-doubt is your nemesis. And it's especially your nemesis if you're inviting self-doubt into how you communicate. So if you're prone to saying things like, well, I don't know, maybe it's okay, maybe people will like it, or like, I'm not really sure what I should paint next, or I don't know, what do you think? That is all the type of language that's going to water down your message, and you just want to eliminate it. The easiest way to fake confidence is to eliminate self-doubt. Just focus on sharing what you do, who you think would be interested in it, why it's important, why it's beautiful, and even just saying things like, oh yeah, people really love my work, people collect my work. I already have quite a few collectors. Just confident sayings that will help them know that you're validated not just by your own idea, but also by the audience around you. Ultimately, they'll first look at the artwork, but they're also going to look at you, and you want to show up confidently and take out any self-deprecating language that you may be prone to. Finally, the last step, clarity. Who are you going to speak to, and who are you as an artist? Confidence. How are you speaking to them? And persistence. You have to keep speaking to them. Don't just approach a gallery once. Approach them multiple times. Be friendly about it. Start with an email. Maybe show up if you're in the neighborhood, or give them a quick phone call. Keep on connecting with them. Hi, just wanted to show you my portfolio. I'd be excited to work with you. It seems like you're a gallery that would fit well with what I do as an artist, but I also have some questions and I'd love to get to know you better. Treat it as a relationship to expand upon. They're going to appreciate if you're professional and that you follow up regularly. If you're someone who's a one and done fly by night, already they know that they may not be able to count on you. So they may not say yes right away, but after 3 to 7 follow-ups, maybe even 17, you may be surprised that they're quite interested in working with you because you showed up consistently. So show up regularly. And I'm not saying every single day, but when you first connect with them, connect in 2 to 3 ways right off the bat. So don't just send one email and hope for the best. Send an email, follow up by phone, and then send a quick follow-up email saying, by the way, here's my portfolio, or something like that. If you feel 2 emails is too much, that's okay. At least 2 connects is important. Send a quick email, follow up by phone, say, hi, I just sent an email and I just wanted to reach out and introduce myself personally. If you don't have time right now, that's fine, but I'd love to set up a time where we could just speak in the future, because I've got a couple questions about your gallery and I'm sure you'll have some for me. It's a very confident, inviting, but also not boisterous or in-your-face way to open a door. So be persistent. After that first 2 to 3 connects that you do, and here's how that might look, right? You start with an email and a phone, and then you do connect with someone, you go, okay, well, I'll send you another email next week, and you do that, right? So you keep a few things right off the bat, so they see your name multiple times. You've just basically introduced your brand, your name to them for the first time, and now you should be in there. Then the next time you follow up, they already know who you are. And you're going to follow up maybe in 2 weeks or a month and say, by the way, just wondering if you had a chance to take a look. Would love to go over it with you. Could we sit down? Something like that. Or, hey, I'm going to be in the area. I'd actually love to just, come and check out your gallery. That kind of thing. Whatever you can do to continue this discussion, continue this conversation. You could even take us all one step further, send them a package by mail. Maybe you're not nearby, but if you do have something that you could put into a nice mailer, like some small, really cheap, affordable, but fairly high quality paper prints, like $1 each of what you do, or maybe a little booklet or a resume or something like that, where you put this into a mailer and you send it to them. That's another way that you're connecting them, a physical way that you're connecting to them if you can't show up in person. And I highly recommend that you just put these people on a short list. Pick the top 3 to 5 galleries, like we did in the clarity section. that you're going to be persistent in following up with because you believe you belong there. And if you don't believe you belong there, revisit step 2, confidence. Just believe you belong there hard enough that you will follow up with them without deprecating yourself, both to them, but also in your own mind. All right, I hope that's a helpful start to how you can open up the discussion of working with galleries. Now, there's no magic silver bullet to this. Really, it is as simple as reaching out through email, phone, or in person, and then following up from there. You'd be surprised that some galleries are really interested in you. And if you're having a hard time finding a gallery that's really interested, then maybe it's time to widen your net. Maybe you're looking a little bit too locally. Some of the most successful artists I see are ones who are represented all across the country because they didn't keep their net too narrow. They said, you know what? Whatever it takes to ship these paintings, get them in this gallery, I believe in this gallery hard enough that I want to be in there. All of this comes down to you showing up in a place where now you don't have to sell yourself anymore. They're going to sell for you. And yes, they're going to take their cut. Like I said, they have rent to pay and staff and more. Trust me, running a business is expensive. But once you're in that gallery, and even if you're taking half of what you normally would from an independent sale, you didn't have to do the selling and you can just focus on creating the next piece of work. That, to me, is a huge leap of success for a lot of artists. It also will help them in their representation online because once they can show that they're in multiple galleries, maybe 3 to 6, it really brings credibility to their brand so that every print they sell can be worth more and every painting that they commission can be worth more. This really raises your brand and your status as an artist. So I highly recommend that you at least try this process if you haven't yet. And if you don't think you're actually gallery ready, then the number one thing you want to do is continue to work on your art. All right, I hope that's been helpful. We'll see you on the next video.